It is Monday, and you all know what time it is. We got some NFL rule proposals from certain teams to talk about tonight. Some teams don't like the push. Some people don't like the overtime rules. Some people don't like current playoff seeding. We'll talk about that. We'll talk some Vikings and quarterback talk over there. We're going to talk some BG retiring in Philadelphia. So do us a favor, kick back, relax, because the new revamped 609 Sports Talk, it starts right now. Yes, and welcome in everybody back to another edition of 609 Sports Talk, live here on Facebook, live over on YouTube, and of course you can catch us every Wednesday on Spotify is when every single new episode of 609 Sports Talk drops. They don't delete episodes like other platforms, so we'll get to that. We'll talk about that another day. But as you guys always know, this is the show that unites fans and will always ignite a heck ton of debate. And as always, we are your hosts, Sam Nelson, Tyler Adams, Mr. Adams. How are we on this less rainy Monday evening?
Well, like you said, it was a rainy day today.
Yeah,
but there's always a bright side. And the bright side is we get to talk about the Eagles.
That's always the bright side. Well, first of all, let's just get something out of the way. How about the new intro? I mean, that is just thick.
It's great. Credit to Georgie.
Of course, Mr. Georgie, always hooking us up with great artwork. So, and of course, he's already in the comments. George's already in the comments saying, yes, it's 7 o'clock and Tush is hell. That is a good one, Georgie. That's a good one. But now, so, look, we have a lot to talk about NFL-wise. So just for anybody, because I know we're going to have to answer this question in the coming week, in case anybody wants to know this, we have done a little revamping. You know, as you can see, we've done a little redecorating here, you know, new intro, new background. Just for anyone that asks this question in the near future, 609 Sports Talk now is basically going to be a football podcast because that is basically the main topic we talk about all the time. Basketball is now the most boring sport alive, so I can care less about it. And it's the NFL, college football, that's when we are at our best. So for the people, we are football, and we are football 24/7. So just for anyone that needs to ask that question, there's an answer. But anyway, Tyler, let's talk. We have a lot to talk about.
We got to ignite some fans.
We got to unite some fans and ignite some debate. No, you're not. No, we're not doing this 2 weeks in a row. You're not getting me to screw this up.
I had to try to get you.
It's not happening.
Slide.
It's not happening. But like I said, we have some NFL rule proposals that were from last week. Later on in the show, we'll talk some Minnesota Vikings and some quarterback stuff over there. But first thing we got to talk about, Eagles. Big news last week. Brandon Graham, the third of the core four to announce his retirement after a lovely 15-year career in the city of Philadelphia. BG, in his career with the Eagles, was a former Pro Bowler back in 2020, a two-time second-team All-Pro, collected 76 and a half sacks, played 206 games, most in Eagles history, and is a two-time Super Bowl champion. He was also nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award in Philadelphia twice, which is one of the highest honors in the sport. Tyler, I guess my question to start this show to you is Brandon Graham one of the greatest Eagles of all time?
one of. You could put him on a list. Yes. As far as legendary, spending all of his time in Philadelphia, I'd say, yeah, he's the top of that list because we got our other legends, B Dog, Reggie White, but they also spent some time with other teams for a little bit. But the one guy who made, I think, the most impact in his 15 years with the team, I think BG's on the top of that list.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And I mean, you're looking at a guy that it wasn't a great start. I mean, this is a guy that was labeled a bust within the first, 2-3 years of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, rookie year showed some flashes late into that season, ended up tearing his ACL, and then only playing in 3 games in 2011, which, blame him, who wants to remember the 2011 season? I know I don't, but...
What's up, Carol?
What's up, Carol? Carol's here. New time, and everybody's still here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm digging the new comment reader here. How it's playing him in the corner there. I'm kind of digging that, actually.
Oh.
You noticed that too, right?
Yeah.
Restream did some updates.
Very nice.
But, I mean, I don't know. Like, if you think of Eagles Mount Rushmore, it's hard. Like, is BG there for you?
I know Kelsey's there.
He's starting to give me Dwayne The Rock Johnson prime WWE day vibes.
Okay.
Someone's going Hollywood.
Okay. Aside from that,
okay,
Kelsey should be on there.
I mean, should he?
I mean, another guy spent his whole career here. He's literally going to be a Hall of Famer. First ballot.
Yeah, oh yeah, without a doubt. Kelsey's the first ballot Hall of Famer. He's one of the best centers to ever play the game. Yeah. Probably is the best center to play the game.
So, my opinion, retirement aside for him and his endeavors, Kelsey's up there. It's tough to put together a list because it's like, how far back do you want to go?
I mean, that's the problem. I mean, you're talking Eagles Mount Rushmore, Doc, B-Dog's up there, Reggie, even though he ended up playing for another team.
Yeah, but still known for his Eagles days. I mean, honestly, it gets kind of tough. It's like, yeah, we've had some great players, but like, we're talking about the Mount Rushmore of Philadelphia Eagles history. Do you put I was gonna say Cunningham, but I can't really bring myself to back that up.
I do not put Randall Cunningham on this list. Do you put Nick?
Yeah.
Nick,
yes, great story. Savior of the city. Backup quarterback to lead you through the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. I mean, it's a storybook ending. But our Eagles legend, hands down, yes. Mount Rushmore, it's tough because you can make arguments. Okay, he did win the MVP, Super Bowl MVP, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he won the Super Bowl MVP. he did get your team their first Super Bowl. Not first championship, but first Super Bowl.
Yep.
But then that's about it. It's not like he enjoyed like years of success.
True, but Nick is still responsible for one of the
He is.
greatest runs in the history of Eagles football.
Eagles legend, yes. Mount Rushmore Eagles. I can't stand behind that.
Do you have like?
I'm still
do we
trying. I'm
consider-
still having an issue trying to get another name out though, because so far I got Kelsey, B Doc, Reggie. Maybe it is BG.
It could be, and then in a couple of years we're going to have the same conversation about Lane.
Yeah. Definitely not Jason Peters. Happy retirement,
Honestly,
Jason Peters.
Currently, do you want to know what my Mount Rushmore is? Because BG just recently retired, this is clearly not just from this past week. My Eagles Mount Rushmore is Dawkins, Kelsey, Reggie, and I've had for the longest time, and I may have to change it, I've had Andy Reid. Because
I like that. I didn't think about that, but I like that.
And I understand I know Eagle fans are like, oh, yeah, okay, listen. The Eagles would have like 2 good years in a row from like 1980 to like 1996. Then they would stink. And then they were letting guys like Reggie leave the building, which, good Lord, do not get me. I don't want to get started on that again.
Yeah.
But when Jeffrey Lurie took over this team and he hired Andy Reid, I know we like to make the jokes. I know that, oh, well, hey, Doug won a Super Bowl here and Nick has won a Super Bowl here, and I get that. But the fact that Andy Reid turned the Eagles into a force in the NFC from almost the first day was something special.
Yeah, and I
They
agree.
turn into... Look, they never won a Super Bowl with Andy, and I get that. And I like the national media as, oh, they fired Andy Reid. At the time that happened, that's what should have happened. With what was going on with Andy Reid and his stuff, his life off the field with his son passing and all that, he should have been let go. The team was not good for 2 years. Dream team, thanks Vince Young. But he sustained a level of success. It's tough. Anthony, LaShawn McCoy is not on. LaShawn McCoy is one of the greatest Eagles of all time. He's not a Mount Rushmore guy.
Yeah. You could make some arguments for Fletcher. Because then you got to sit back and look at it, right? Who had the more... How do you even judge this? Do you base this off of personal accomplishments, team accomplishments? Because Fletcher, I'm pretty sure he's a Pro Bowler more times than Brandon Graham. Probably an All-Pro more times than Brandon Graham. There was a time when Fletcher Cox was viewed for multiple years as the best defensive tackle in football. Then Aaron Donald came along.
They kind of came in right around the same time. Aaron was only they were either the same year or a year apart.
Yeah, but you get what I mean. He stole his thunder, and then everyone regarded Fletcher as the second best defensive tackle in football.
I'm now curious. All right, Fletcher Cox. Sorry.
We as Eagles fans know how much he means to this organization. But let's look at it in a broad scheme, a broad scope of the entire NFL. What would other people view Brandon Graham as?
Yeah.
To how they would view Fletcher Cox.
Yeah. All right, so Fletcher Cox had 2 years on Aaron Donald, just for anybody that was wondering. Donald was drafted in 2014. Fletcher Cox was drafted in 2012.
Yeah.
But
Now BG's got more rings than him.
that is true. Fletcher could have had the same amount. Thank you, Jonathan Gannon. But anyway,
Yeah.
I can tell you where Jonathan Gannon's on. That is in Eagles Mount Rushmore talk.
Eagles purgatory.
Yeah, he is. No, he is in the Eagles version of Middle Earth.
Middle Earth.
The Dark Lord Sauron is currently on his way to Mr. Gannon. But what I think of, when you think Eagles, I feel like those are the names you think of. You thought of Jason Kelsey. You thought of Brian Dawkins. Is Fletcher going to replace Reggie White? Like, that's good luck with that. And let me just explain something to the people. This is why I hate having this conversation. Because you only have 4 spots on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
And I could think of 15 Eagles players I could put on this.
Yeah, it's tough.
But no, to answer Anthony's question, no, Fletcher Cox would probably, I don't know where I would have Fletcher in my all-time Eagles list, but him or LaShawn McCoy on terms of Mount Rushmore, nah, they're not there. They're great players. Don't get me wrong. They're terrific players. But also, the one difference is between Fletcher Cox, BG, LaShawn McCoy, 2 of those guys played their whole career here.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. It is not LaShawn McCoy's fault he did not play his entire career in Philadelphia. You can go ask a certain offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders why that happened. I also hate the fact that Shady won a couple rings after he left, too. But that's not the point here.
Yeah, let's not act like he was the catalyst to those.
He was literally just sitting on the sideline at that point in his career. But hey, rings are rings.
They are.
Once held some of the best running back seasons in Eagles history until this past year. But anyway.
It all washed away in one season.
Yeah, what? After this year, nobody knows who LaShawn McCoy was in Philadelphia. We just know who Saquon Barkley is. Shady's always going to have love in this city. Now, George here says in the comments, Andy got you to their first Super Bowl. No, George, he actually did not. Dick Vermeil got them to their first Super Bowl. They did get to the Super Bowl in 1980. I don't want to remember it. Nor do I, because I wasn't born yet. But anyway.
Sam saw the tapes.
No, I'm not that old. But that's my point, though. When Dick Vermeil was here, okay, they got to the Super Bowl. Then what? That was the problem. From 1980 to 1996, they could not sustain success. They brought Buddy Ryan in. Buddy Ball, that lasted, maybe 2 years? If that?
Yep.
It was a good run till the Fog Bowl came. It just wasn't. They were never able to sustain anything. Then you had all this stuff happen. Jerome Brown, unfortunately, passes away. Reggie White moves on to Green Bay. And it's like even Brian Dawkins. Joe Banner should have been fired that day. The day that he said, I'm not paying a 32-year-old Brian Dawkins is the day I fire you. And kudos to Howie and Jeffrey for never letting that happen again. Because we have been through that stuff, and I hated everything about it. But I would say BG is an all-time great Eagle. In terms of everything else, he's probably not a Mount Rushmore guy. But he is one of the greatest Eagles of all time. He didn't have his career early was bad.
Which I feel like that's how a lot of these guys, all the greats, turn out. Right? You look at Kelsey. He struggled early in his career too.
Yeah. And I feel like BG, the problem with him was you just thought of the Earl Thomas joke. Everyone made that joke for at least the first 4 years of his career. Oh, they took him before, after, and then Seattle took Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas this, Earl Thomas that. don't get me wrong. Earl Thomas was one of the best safeties to play in his era. Then he went nuts.
Yep.
Then he went crazy. And then his mind went. But he's another one. He's known as the anchor of one of the greatest defenses we'll ever see. But that's just it. All right. I do want to comment on Bruiser's comment because he was saying we're talking about the Eagles. Bruiser, first off, said in the beginning of the show, transitioned away from an all sports podcast to a football podcast. That's just how we're doing it. MLB opening day, cool. The Phillies are not winning the World Series, so I'm not going to care too much. Ovechkin passing Gretzky, absolutely. But you notice something that we didn't say. It's March Madness. And nobody cares. Because the tournament sucks already. Because all the potential Cinderellas are going. Definitely not the year. Definitely not that.
Basketball has been very disappointing this year.
Georgie, if I had to put a quarterback on my Eagles Mount Rushmore, Jaws is like 6.
Nick Foles is going up there first.
Oh, God, yeah. Jaws is one of the biggest reasons they lost that Super Bowl in 1980.
I know McNabb's not going up there.
McNabb would go before Jaws.
Damn.
But again, we're back to what we were talking about with the Mount Rushmore. If Andy Reid's on there, well, Donovan was a pretty important part of that too.
Yeah, Donovan also. Terrible leader.
Oh, no disagreement, but I'm just saying, do they have that sustained success without him?
Probably not. Not going on Mount Rushmore.
No, he's not. No, I'm just saying. I was just saying to reply to George, if I was picking a quarterback, Jaws is not going ahead of Donovan. He's not going ahead of Nick. He's probably not even going ahead of Jalen.
Yeah. He's got him beat at this point.
George, I'd rather have the one-hit wonder than the 0 for 4 wonders. What did y'all... Like I said, Jaws was good. But you don't hear anything about Jaws after the 1980 Super Bowl because there really wasn't anything after the 1980 Super Bowl.
Yep.
Donovan sustained success. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts has won a Super Bowl and has been to multiple. And has played well in basically all of them. Now the real question, if you had to pick between the two, would be Randall or Jaws. That's a good question in its own right. But I'm not about to have that conversation.
I don't think that's relevant.
But if I had to put BG somewhere in all-time greatest Eagles, he's got to be at least in the top. He's probably right around he's in the top 10 for sure.
Yeah.
Because George said 0-4, let's leave the Bills out of this. Oh, God. Josh Allen's on their Mount Rushmore already because he hasn't lost the Super Bowl yet. But BG, for 4 years? Yeah. All right, should have took Earl Thomas. Okay. Well, BG has more Super Bowls than Earl Thomas does. Earl Thomas also went insane. Don't know what happened to him. But, all right, in hindsight, yes, it was probably they should have picked Earl Thomas, yes. But, guess what? Take out.
No, they never made a bad decision. Everything happened for a reason. All right? If we don't choose J.J. Arcega-Whiteside over D.E. Metcalf, we never get Devontae Smith, we never get A.J. Brown, and we never get any Super Bowls.
Why did you have to bring up J.J. Arcega-Whiteside on this show?
Because it's relevant in this conversation, talking about
Eagles
draft day and Seattle draft day. It is very relevant.
To be fair, though, while we were on the topic still of this, and we were talking about Andy Reid, Brandon Graham is the last Eagles player that was here that Andy drafted.
Wow.
That's the other thing with Brandon Graham. Just imagine this. You get drafted by Andy Reid. You go on to play 15 years. You outlast Andy Reid. You outlast Chip Kelly. You outlast Doug Peterson. I don't know if we want to count the one game Pat Shurmur coached when they fired Chip in the middle of the season. You can count that, I guess. And now you retire in right now, currently the Nick Sirianni era. But the guy literally went through 4 head coaches and 4 or 6 defensive coordinators.
Yep.
I mean, how many coordinators did he have?
So are we also counting the 2 coordinators from, was it 2023?
Yeah. We'll talk about the co-coordinator.
Yeah, the co-coordinator.
So, I mean, you're looking at Fangio, Desai, Patricia, Gannon, Schwartz.
Mm-hmm.
Schwartz is probably where he had his best stretch of his career.
Yeah,
I know he had the 11 sacks the year with Gannon, but everybody was getting sacks that year. But I would say longevity. For 2016 to 2020, like Graham had a really, really good stretch of his career. 2017 was his best year, in my opinion. So, all right, so Schwartz was here. Then he went Billy Davis. Then he had Juan Castillo / Todd Bowles. And he had McDermott for his rookie year. Because he fired McDermott after 2010 and went with Castillo. Great job that went. I don't want to talk about that. But to go through what BG went through early on, major knee injury, that's everything. The guy was to suffer 2 of the worst injuries in sports. Torn ACL, torn Achilles.
Yeah.
And he carved out one of the best careers in Eagles history. Not NFL history, just Eagles history. He will be remembered as one of the best players to ever put on that jersey. The guy has 2 Super Bowl rings, which only a handful of guys can say. Him, Jake Elliott, Lane, Rick Lovato. And he's easily one of the 10. He's easily top 10 to me. I don't know where I'd have him in order, but he's in my 10. Like I said, you can make so many different cases for so many different guys, but BG's in my 10.
He's definitely in the top 10. Eagles.
And he's also, not to mention, before we continue, what's up, Clint?
What's up, Clint?
One of the greatest dudes you'll ever meet. I mean, BG on the field's awesome, unless you're the opponent, you're talking about him. But you just see it from the interviews, from all that. He's one of the best, one of the coolest guys in the NFL. One of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss the trash talking before games, and I'm definitely gonna miss the. I already missed that because he's no longer with NBC Sports. What's up?
You gonna miss the mic'd up?
Oh, I'm gonna miss up the mic'd up fat boy. But I'm gonna miss. I miss already the D Gunn backstage interviews that he used to have with him. But D Gunn's been off of NBC Sports Philly for like 2 years now, so he hasn't been doing them as it is. But yeah. There's a lot of BG stuff I'm going to miss. But let's wrap up this first segment of the show. And Tyler, I have a new little trivia question for you. So each week, guys, during probably the offseason when we're talking about a certain team here and there, I'm going to bring up a trivia question for Mr. Adams. And he's not going to like this ever because he doesn't like trivia questions. So, Tyler, I have a question for you. If you, not counting BG, Jason Kelsey, and Fletcher Cox, they don't count. Can you name the last player to spend his whole career with the Philadelphia Eagles?
Not counting
Chat, don't spoil
BG, Fletcher
No, they count.
Cox.
And Jason
Or
Kelsey. They do
Jason
not
Kelce.
count.
I think I got this.
Do you? Let's see.
Entire career with the Eagles.
Yeah.
Was this offense or defense?
I am not giving you any hints. I'll give you hints for others.
I'm just guessing. Trent Cole.
Ooh, nope. Trent Cole was released by the Eagles in 2014 and spent 2 years with the Colts after that.
God damn it, I forgot about that.
Would you like another guess, or would you just like the answer?
Give me one hint.
Okay. You know, of the 3 players I said don't count, he was a teammate of all 3 of them. That's all I'm giving you.
A teammate of all 3?
Yes. He was teammates with BG, Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey. Oh, George, he won. Oh, George, he definitely won.
That's funny.
George says you were. Oh, George, he definitely was born.
I would hope so if he played with all them.
Yeah, God, how long did Fletcher Cox play?
Jeez.
No wonder he retired last year.
You really can't tell me offense or defense.
Nope. I don't want to spoil
it. Special teams.
No. I mean, Jake Elliott technically could be this one day, but he was drafted by a different team. Remember, we picked Elliott off of waivers.
Yeah, I pass.
You give up.
You stumped me.
This individual spent his entire 10-year career with the Philadelphia Eagles from 2007 to 2017, helping secure their first Super Bowl victory. Tight end Brent Selleck.
Oh my gosh. For some reason, I was thinking they retired sometime in between the 2 Super Bowls.
Nope. The correct answer was Brent Selleck.
Damn you.
That was a good one. That was a really good one.
Damn you.
It was a good trivia question. I thought you would have got it.
Damn you.
But I think a lot of the problem with Brent Selleck is people forget like the last 3 years of his career, he was just a backup tight end at that point.
Yeah.
But Brent Selleck, when he was in his prime with Andy, the boy was a player. But yep, Brent Selleck spent his entire 10-year career in Philadelphia and retired a Super Bowl champion. And another fun name for that would have been Todd Harriman, but I didn't know off the top of my head if Todd actually played his whole career with the Philadelphia Eagles.
I think he did.
I know he played. Well, no, he played a significant amount of it with the Eagles, but I think after he was released by Chip, nice going, Chip. Nope, he spent 1 year with the Colts as well. So it would have been a wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Brent Selleck was the correct answer. Thank you, Tyler, for playing this week's edition of Sam's Trivia Questions. Thank God Spotify can't see that. Facebook and YouTube can. But I think we served BG. I think we did BG good give him a nice half hour on the show. Oh, George took a swing at it, and also incorrect. George
played
David
for another
Akers.
team. Didn't he play for the Niners too?
Yes, he played. He went to the Niners
George,
in 2011. Yeah, wait a second.
Hold on, George.
He was shanking field goals for you for 2 years, I think. But all right, Tyler, let's move on in tonight's show. let's talk some stuff that's not Eagles related. We have some Minnesota Vikings news to talk about.
Which is nothing.
Well, no, we do. We have a little bit of something. So last week, Tom Pelissero put out a tweet saying the Vikings have rejected multiple trade calls on quarterback J.J. McCarthy, telling other teams they are moving forward with him as their quarterback. The team plans to add a veteran, but they are not pursuing Aaron Rodgers at this time. McCarthy now enters the offseason as their QB1. And then Mike Garafolo went on to add on, unless Rodgers wants to wait for the Vikings to potentially change their minds, this should direct him toward his other options, the Steelers or the Giants. Tyler, I'm going to basically keep this a Vikings topic. We'll talk about Aaron Rodgers when he finally signs. Is this the right call for the Minnesota Vikings?
It is. I think the Vikings, they should have jumped on the Jameis train as a backup.
Agreed.
But they missed out on that in their attempts to, because they didn't know what they wanted to do. But I do think it's the right decision to move forward with McCarthy, but still not having an answer behind him right now is definitely worrisome.
Well, they don't have an answer at all.
Yeah.
He's literally the only quarterback on the roster.
Yeah.
So, look, I never bought in Aaron Rodgers going to Minnesota. I thought it was a fun story. It would have been cool to think about it for a week. They just had the best season of Sam Darnold's career. Why would they trade for the headache of Aaron Rodgers when they just drafted J.J. McCarthy? I'd rather just sign Sam Darnold back, and I would have got more years out of him.
Yeah.
Because the Vikings are they're after last year now, they may be a destination for quarterbacks. After what you saw Kevin O'Connell do for Sam Darnold, you wouldn't want to go into that system?
Yeah, you'll look good for about 16 weeks out of the season. And then when the season's on the line, no touchdowns.
Oh, God, Georgie's gotten into the Captain Morgan. Georgie's sipping the captain. I'm looking to be naming names. Oh, dear. But no, but I mean, not to mention that you're going to be coached by Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
Who is easily one of the best offensive minds in the game. But you're going to a team that has a really good offensive line that now, even since last year, has gotten better. You have legit weapons. You know, you have Justin Jefferson, you have Jordan Addison, you have TJ Hawkinson, you have Aaron Jones. You know your defense is going to keep you in the game because of Brian Flores and how good his unit's been, and that unit's gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
So, and once again, you need to see what J.J. McCarthy can do at some point. You know, we can't. How many more bridge quarterbacks do we need? How many years do you want to bridge for the kid? I understand he missed a lot of time last year because of the meniscus injury. I get that. But what do you want the guy to do? Sit on the bench again and basically do his whole freshman year twice over? If I draft a kid in the top 10, I'm doing it because I think he can play. I can plug him in there and he can play. So, I mean, I agree with what you said. Jameis Winston would have been the perfect backup for a team like the Vikings. Now he's probably going to be a starter on the Giants. He's going to be.
Oh, yeah, he will. Actually, there's still time for Aaron Rodgers to go there.
Why would he go there?
Maybe he just likes the way the MetLife turf is.
Why would you, as annoying and as much of a pain in the we know what Aaron Rodgers is, why would you spoil the last year or two of your career, because we don't know how many more years Aaron Rodgers will play, why would you do that to your career and go play for a Giants franchise that's a flat-out mess?
No.
Like, why would you do that?
Why does Aaron Rodgers do a lot of things that he does?
Because Aaron Rodgers is insane.
I don't know. Exactly, it's insane.
But now Minnesota still needs to add a quarterback. Whether they need somebody that can at least back him up, what are some other names you could think of for that? Like, you only got JJ on the roster. You can't do that.
I don't even know.
I mean,
what backups are even still out there?
Let's see.
What's Tyrod Taylor doing?
I think he's currently. I actually think he's under contract with the Jets, though.
Oh, I got one. Where's Teddy Bridgewater at right now?
Probably back retired.
Oh, God. Because which team did he sign with during their playoff run?
The Lions.
The Lions.
Okay. Not many. Okay, so basically, all right, so available right now, Aaron Rodgers. Oh, boy, this is going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly real fast. All right, you ready for this list?
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers, Trey Lance, Drew Lock, Joe Flacco.
You know, Flacco would be a good backup to McCarthy.
Do you want me to keep going?
If it's not any of those options, then they're really in trouble.
Well, look, let's see what else is out there. Carson Wentz.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
Case Keenum.
Oh my God! Yeah, let's get Case Keenum back in Minnesota.
Yes, the miracle. Just don't let him play the same. And then, I mean, you've got DJ Beathard, Russell Wilson. Good Lord. Tyler Huntley.
I forgot about Russell Wilson. So the Giants could really. I think the Giants, they want Rodgers. If they don't get Rodgers, I think they're going to go with Wilson.
If I'm Russell Wilson, I'd rather just return to the Steelers. I'd actually rather go to Cleveland. At least they have some talent on their roster. But two names that stand out for the Vikings. What are some of the names I said? Who do you have in your mind for the backup for JJ McCarthy?
I think it could be. I think Flacco. I don't think they'll bring in Beathard because I mean that guy's like a third string at this point. They might they might bring him in as a third string because they're going to need to bring in two more quarterbacks.
Well, Desmond Ridder and Drew Lock are available for that.
True. They might command too much money for a third string. I would bring in even Drew Lock as a like a second string. Do we honestly even think Drew Lock has anything left to prove?
No. I'll answer that for you. No.
I don't know. I think Flacco would be the best one. Veteran guy, been around the league, had success. Someone who could actually mentor McCarthy while he's trying to be the starter.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about Wentz for like a second because I'm like, well, no, because listen, hear me out here, okay?
No.
I was going to say, if heaven forbid something happened to McCarthy, if there's somebody that had to come in and play and Kevin O'Connell could get some decent play out of him, Carson Wentz could be your guy. The guy the guy saved the career of one of the biggest labeled quarterback draft busts in NFL history.
But Carson Wentz looked bad on the Chiefs.
Okay, and and the Chiefs played who in that game? He didn't have Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice and all them around him. And then we saw what the Chiefs' starting offensive line looked like in the Super Bowl. What's their backup look like? That's what I'd like to know.
No, give my man McCarthy Joe Flacco. Call it a day.
That's where I'm going to pivot away because you're talking leadership, and that's a great aspect.
Send him to New York. Give Jameis Winston some competition.
Oh my God, those Giants players are going to have like the most interceptions in NFL practice history. Like, oh my God, how many guys, dude? How many interceptions are we getting thrown to us in practice over there, huh?
Too many.
That's just no. That's just not fair. But no, yeah, I like Flacco. Like I said, because see, the problem is if McCarthy has to miss a game or two games, and Wentz plays well, and he gets benched because McCarthy's the starter, he'll sulk, he'll moan, he'll cry, whatever. We'll get all that crap again. But no, Flacco makes a lot of sense. Flacco makes a lot of sense for the Vikings. Like you said, yeah, and like you said, leadership, mentorship. That makes perfect sense. Everything you said right there, spot on. And plus, if you need him for a week or two in the season, it don't get much better than Joe Flacco. Flacco's had a very nice little career as a backup.
Yes.
So,
ask Cleveland fans. Yeah, I agree with Anthony.
Anthony basically saying that Russell Wilson doesn't have a job because people are waiting on Rodgers. Honestly, that is true. But after what I saw last year, I thought he was good early. But honestly, how much does Russell Wilson have left?
I don't know.
I don't know what he has left in this point of his career.
So the Steelers are currently looking at trying to get old Aaron Rodgers or old Russell Wilson.
No, they're trying to get
in the past, aren't they?
No, it's basically they're trying to get old Russell Wilson or older Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what the Steelers. This is what you get for not drafting the quarterback. This is what you get for all those years, and you don't draft a quarterback. Oh, nope. I'm sorry. You did draft Kenny Pickett a couple years ago. So,
Kenny Pickett.
I don't want to talk about Kenny Pickett. I will say that the big one, they haven't been relevant since Ben, and they're not going to be until they actually get the quarterback situation under control. So, we're out on that. But yeah, I'm cool with Minnesota just sticking with JJ. I don't need another. I don't like. What is Aaron Rodgers going to teach him? Look, kid. Here's my favorite spot to go on a darkness retreat. That's what he's going to teach this kid. We don't need that stuff. Like I said, you picked the kid 10th overall. You believe he can play, then you need to show the world he can play, and he needs to show you he can play. You need to know if you have a long-term investment or you're just treading water at this point. So, We have to look at those aspects. Anthony said Pittsburgh didn't keep Wilson. Why? Why not out? And yeah, like that's the thing. Why did they keep Fields? Why didn't they at least attempt to keep Justin Fields? I get our Aaron Rodgers, but Fields is younger.
Yeah.
Like, why not try to hang on with Fields and see what happens? Yeah, and like I said, you went with two quarterbacks on one-year deals. You actually had a solid start, and then you did what you do every year. Your quarterback play declined in the second half of the season, and you got worse again. And your defense couldn't hold up throughout the second half of the season because they had to win you about 7 games early. That's the state of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The only one that can save them is Aaron Rodgers, but that's not a good position to be in. You'd rather be a team like the Vikings, who you know now you have J.J. McCarthy. You're chilling. You got the young kid in place on a rookie deal, and they're in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
But miss me with the Aaron Rodgers stuff. Because if you're depending on Aaron Rodgers at this point in your franchise's history, you are in trouble. So no, the Vikings being out on Aaron Rodgers, it is clearly the right call. It's the right decision for the sanity of their franchise. The heck with if it's right for the team or not. I don't care how good or how much Aaron Rodgers how much he still has left in the tank. I don't care. The guy is as toxic as they can be. So, miss me with Aaron Rodgers. The Vikings they're chilling. Go sign Flacco. Hell, draft your third string for all I care. If you get to the point of your third string quarterback, pack it in. See you next year. Not everybody is Nick Foles. That's what I've been trying to tell people for years. Not everybody can be Nick Foles.
Yep.
But anyway, moving on to our final segment. Some shows will be a little shorter than others, especially around this time of year. But we got some NFL rule proposals over this past week. Some teams want some things changed. So, we'll go through a few of these. Some of these are interesting. Some of them suck. Especially the one with the Green Bay Packers. But anyway.
Wonder why.
We'll get to that. We'll finish that. We'll use that one to finish up the show. So, the first one actually comes from the Eagles. The Eagles proposed an idea that already has traction, applying the current postseason overtime rules to the regular season. So I'm assuming that would be both teams get the chance to possess the ball?
I guess so.
Or is there something like, I guess that's all it is?
And they want that going every regular season overtime?
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
I still think the NFL overtime rules suck. I don't like them to begin with. But I'm not going to spend my time on that one. I don't care for the overtime rules. My team's too good to be in overtime, so I don't care. Now, here is one where we actually had conversations about this. The Lions proposed a change that would allow wildcard teams to be seeded higher than division winners based on record.
I like it.
What are your thoughts on that one?
I like it. I think it's great. I think it's fair. Reward the teams who are actually winning more games rather than, you won your division with winning 8 games. Congratulations. This other team didn't make it because they only won 10 games or 11 games and their division leader won 13 games. Example, Washington Commanders.
Yeah. And what about last year? Look at the Bucs, who were 9-10 wins. Meanwhile, we have a wild card team that had 14.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Vikings, I actually don't mind that at all. I still think we should just go to an NBA type format and the top 8 records and stuff like that. But that's kind of something like this. I prefer that. I don't think a 9-win team should be a 4 seed just because they won their division. Oh, okay, so we're going to give the Houston Texans the 4th seed every year because they play in what is literally the worst division you'll ever see. I don't see how that's fair. But Georgie said all the teams will need to be seeded according to their records, and that rules out people sitting in the last week of the season. Yeah, that's fine. But like I said, the Texans should not get the 4 seed over a team like, let's just say, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good. Let's look at the AFC North teams, right? Baltimore's going to win that division probably next year. I don't believe the Steelers will. The Browns, they're the Browns right now. I don't believe that those teams are going to win it all. So let's look at a team like the Bengals. What if the Bengals go win 12 games next year? Oh, they're going to be a bottom wild card seed because the Texans are won their division with 9 wins because their division stinks. Meanwhile, the Texans are going to go on to get the crap kicked out of them because they stink.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fair. So, and like I said last year, the Bucs got in as a 9-10 win team as a 4 seed because the NFC South stinks. But the Vikings, on the other hand, won 14 games, and look where they ended up. I agree with it. I think the higher your record is, the better your record is, the higher seed you should get. Go to an NBA format. Top 8 records, that's how it goes. And it's not by division because it's not fair. All right, now, here's one that I thought that was interesting. The Steelers proposed one saying allowing teams to have direct contact with free agents and set up travel during the negotiation window. Because currently, clubs are only permitted to speak with agents and cannot schedule travel until the league's new year begins. So they can only talk with agents as of right now. They can't schedule traveling or anything.
Yep.
I don't really have an issue with any of that. I feel like there's going to be a lot of more illegal tampering after that. If that happens, then take the legal tampering window and close it.
Yeah. Because legal tampering, it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, it was like
it's free agency. Come on.
Yeah. It was like last year. Oh, well, legal tampering opens at noon, and at 12:05, oh, DeAndre Swift is a Bear. Oh, man, those are quick negotiations. You're telling me somebody wasn't involved? There was something going on there.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. We're not falling for this stuff. But, yeah, I don't care what they do with that either. Free agency, legal tampering, how this says they allow teams to have direct contact with free agents and set up travel during negotiation window. Okay, if they want to be able to talk to the actual player, that's fine too. I have no issue with that. But I just see there being some issues with that. Someone's going to mess that up. Someone's going to schedule we scheduled a flight with this guy. Well, we need the date of that flight. Oh, that was before the window. All right, you're fined $30,000. Somebody will mess that entire thing up.
Yeah.
But now, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers, shall we? And that is that they would like to ban the tush push.
They're just salty.
So the way they want to do it is to prohibit an offensive player from rushing a teammate who is lined up directly behind the snapper and receives the snap immediately at the snap. So basically they want it to be a QB sneak and not the tush push. And apparently it has to do, in words from the Packers, it has to do with player safety. Safety. Well, just so everyone knows, the NFL did their research from this past season, and there were no injuries that were reported or were accused to be done during the tush push. So, for any Packers fan personnel that think it has to do with player safety, no, you just don't know how to operate it, and that's why you want it banned. I'll let you give your thoughts, but real quickly, I'm just going to say this one last time. You cannot ban a rule just because one team executes it better than everybody else.
Yeah. The main reason behind this is almost out of spite of the Green Bay Packers because they tried to run the tush push play and they failed epically doing it. There's other teams who successfully replicated it.
Yeah.
Other teams can do it. Not as successfully as the Eagles do it, but other teams are able to do it. The Packers and their skinny leg Jordan Love are not able to do it. And that's just the harsh reality. Packers fans are upset by it. The organization's upset by it. And they figure if, we could just get the play removed, that'd be great. No, go somewhere.
Well, first of all, the problem was when they tried to run is that Jordan Love literally tried to swing his body through a gap before he had the football, which ignited a false start.
Yeah.
But okay, we just know how to operate the play better than anybody. All 32 teams are allowed to do the tush push. Don't get mad at us because we are the team that does it better than everybody else.
So they first tried to get rid of it because it wasn't fair. Then that got thrown out because the NFL's like, get better. And now, since they couldn't get it thrown out for being an overpowered play, now they're just going to, it's not safe. Because if the NFL won't react one way, then we'll just say that it's not a safe play. With no proof to back it up. No evidence that you get injured on that play. Except you're the numbskull Chris Jones who decided to put his literally quote for quote put his body on the line like an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, Chris Jones hurt his neck. Yeah, because he lined up facing his defensive tackle.
Tell me in years of watching football at any level, you've seen someone line up like that across from the offensive line. Tell me you've ever seen someone line up like that. No wonder why he got hurt on that play.
Not once in my life.
Don't be an idiot. That's all I have to say to that.
And well, then you had 2 weeks before that, you had Frankie Louvu try to decapitate Jalen Hurts twice.
Yeah.
That heap-sinking missile. All right, so George says, well, there wasn't any on defense either, and the NFL banned it because the defense was better at executing it. Remember, the push was banned in the early days of football. It was a primary rule, and they changed it. Then they said offense was going to get hurt from the defense because it was more effective. That's fine. And like I said, if teams want to find a way to ban it, okay, whatever. So wait, you're telling me that I can legally execute it, I just can't have somebody push my quarterback. Okay, well, my quarterback squats 600 pounds. I don't think we're going to have an issue running.
Probably just going to go from like a 95% success rate to like an 80% success rate.
And either way, it's still going to be just fine.
Yeah.
But the fact that the Packers, my issue is that they said that, it's for player safety, when the evidence shows nobody has gotten hurt because of it.
Yep.
That's my issue, that you're trying to make up a blatant lie about the play. The play does not hurt players.
Yeah.
And then they were trying to say it also has to do with the pace of play. What's it have to... so on 4th and 1, the pace of play gets messed up by, instead of running an offensive play, instead of running out the field goal unit and waiting 10 minutes for them to kick, or taking our 20th commercial break so Brandon Mann can come out and punt. That's bad for the pace of play, is running an offensive play, which literally takes 1 second to execute because none of your guys can do anything about it. And I'm sorry, wasn't it the same Green Bay Packers team that ran the tush push against us in the playoffs twice with their tight end?
Yep. Yeah, they're tight ended because they realize that their quarterback can't run it, so they use their tight end. And it worked.
Exactly.
Are Eagles fans crying? Are we upset?
No.
Oh my gosh, we have to ban tight ends from being able to run that play. Imagine Tyler Warren running that play next year. Oh man. Gonna break the NFL.
Okay, George, I understand that, but once again, you're saying because the NFL said the defense was going to hurt, there's no evidence of players getting injured on this play. Anthony, the league doesn't care what Jerry Jones says. Trust me. If you would have got me if you said Robert Kraft. Kraft, to me, has more. The NFL does not care what Jerry Jones has to say. Jerry Jones can't pay his players, so what do we care about what Jerry Jones says? But once again, what are we complaining about? There's no evidence to anything. That it doesn't hurt the game in any way. So what is the complaint? Oh, because one team does it better than everyone else? Okay, I'll tell your quarterbacks to get in the freaking weight room. Okay, what do you want me to do? Tell your quarterback instead of saying, oh, I want to have a $90 million cap hit next year, to hit the freaking gym and go hit leg day a little harder. Okay? What do you want me to do about it? All right, George, if that's the case from that time, yes. But this past year, they did a research, and no players got hurt doing it on either side of the football. They did their research, and no players got hurt. There is zero evidence to the tush-push injuring a player currently. There is zero evidence behind it. And it's fine. It doesn't matter. The only thing it's going to do is going to probably take Jalen about 5 touchdowns away a season. Okay. I ain't worried about it. No, I don't believe what Carolina did when Cam was there, right?
They might have had a variation of it.
But again, some teams didn't really know you could run a play like that.
Yeah.
So does that give Nick Sirianni credit for being an offensively gifted head coach for exploiting something that no other team ever really tried?
So I forget. I saw something about it, how it all came to fruition. It was back when Sirianni was the offensive coordinator for the Colts, and they tried running that play with, I believe it was an offensive lineman or something. They just put the biggest guy in that they could and just pushed him in. And then once he, eventually got to coach Jalen Hurts, he was like, "Oh, this guy's a pretty strong runner too."
Yeah, right. Like,
so the play didn't even originate in Philadelphia. It just became popularized.
Yeah, the play's been allowed this whole time
to perfection. It's whatever. People are going to be mad. They're going to complain. They're going to whine. Let them.
And first of all, the Patriots already showed you a decade ago that there's really 2 versions of it. There's the one the Eagles run, and then there's one that the Patriots ran with Brady, where, all right, there was nobody behind Brady. He just snuck it himself. That's all the Eagles are going to have to do if they change anything.
Yeah.
You can't ban a QB sneak. All right, if you want to say, okay, you can no longer have 2 guys lined up behind your quarterback to push him. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. But it's
We're
still going to
throw AJ Dillon in there to push him.
They're gonna they're gonna start doing. They're gonna have AJ Dillon line up in the backfield, Jalen under center. They're gonna have AJ Dillon run up and physically push because he's not technically pushing him lined up directly behind him. He's lined up in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
So George said, yeah, I saw the fake video too. Carolina did the push all the time with Cam. It's just been more amplified by the Eagles, and it's another generational level. Yeah, exactly. It's just like I said, it's one team just dominates it, and no one else can. I mean, the Chiefs tried it one time, like 3 years ago, like right in the beginning of Mahomes' career, and he dislocated his kneecap doing it. Now that doesn't get it. Now if that doesn't get it freaking banned, I don't know what will. But again, you also want to know how you basically turn into a great play. You draft offensive linemen that are just freaking huge. Like, you're not using a 6'3", 310-pound
No,
guard.
Sam, you're wrong. You just need Jeff Stalin on your coaching staff.
I mean, Stout is technically the run game coordinator, so it works out in their favor. Like I said, it's not going to get banned this year. Probably not going to get banned next year.
No.
So the Packers can try all they want. It's cute. You're trying to get it banned because you couldn't stop it in the playoffs. Maybe if you didn't turn maybe if I was the Packers, I'd probably worry more of the fact on, hey, did my quarterback throw 3 interceptions in a playoff game? Maybe I should worry about that. Maybe instead of signing Mecole Hardman, I should have got a better wide receiver. Maybe I should have worried about stuff like that instead of worrying about a tush-push against a team who I'm not even going to play this year. But anyway. Tyler, it's all semantics. Our favorite word here at 609 Sports Talk, semantics. But, Tyler, you got anything else you want to talk about tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
Nothing.
There we go. All right. Well, new time slot, little bit of a redecorating, and very good first revamped episode here at 609. It was a good show.
Yeah.
Wrapped up a little early.
The BG.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, BG, for 15 great years in Philly. And we will love you always because you brought 2 Super Bowls to the city of brotherly love.
Mm-hmm.
And kudos to the Vikings for being a smart organization and not going after the 41-year-old drama queen. And Green Bay can worry about everything else except the tush-push because it ain't going anywhere. But that about sums everything up here tonight here at 609 Sports Talk. Covered some more football stuff. Like we said, for anybody who didn't see the beginning of the show, we have kind of transitioned into basically a football podcast. We've noticed that these are the shows that us and our fans do the most engagement and most talking in. So we hope everybody enjoys our NFL content. It will be plenty of that in the coming weeks and months. The NFL and basically the sport of football has become an all year round thing, especially with the NFL. And then, when we have college football and the NFL together, it's just a good old fun time. So, want to thank everybody who threw some comments in the chat. Carol, Clint, Georgie, Anthony, Bruiser, I know threw one in there. Want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. And we will be back, same time, same place next week, Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And that's the other thing that everyone needs just to remember. We are at a new start time. So, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. And just before we get out of here, I do want to read off our last comment of the night, and that, I believe, it comes from Carol, saying, of course, okay, guys, have a great week. You too, Carol. And Carol, as always, go Birds.
Go Birds.
It's always go Birds. NFL draft season, of course, is upon us, everybody. So, more draft talk coming. I mean, we're a month away. Got a month till the draft, so...
Yeah.
All that draft talk will be coming. We still need to see the Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, where they end up. There's always going to be stuff to talk about in the world of football. So, guys, once again, have a great rest of your week, and we will see you guys next time. For Kyler Adams, I'm Sam Nelson. Good night, everybody.